Here's our 25-year-old Craftsman tractor. It's a 20 horse. We have been using this for cutting grass for 25 years, and not only that, it's done dual service. It's also run all winter, blowing snow. So this thing doesn't owe us a penny. Here's the snowblower attachment. Again, it's been doing great for 25 years. Matter of fact, this unit does better job than the John Deere. Anyway, take a look down here. I have some repair work. So we're sitting here in August, getting ahead of the game for the winter. But you can see it's completely rusted through here, and even the second layer is rusted through. So I got to fix this. Let's get started. I started with disassembly. I wanted to do two things. Get things out of my way to give me access to the area that needs work, and to make the whole thing a little bit lighter to be easier to move around. Oh, the whole thing moves. Wow, I want to show you something. This is the chain that you saw me remove the cover from earlier, and of course each year at the beginning of the year I add some oil to that to keep it lubed. However, what I didn't know was that there is a second chain right here, and this particular chain has been in use for 25 years without receiving a single drop of lube. And it has not failed. You can tell it's got some crinkles in it. It definitely needs some attention. Anyway, I've just rotated it forward. You can see the master link right here. I'm going to remove it next. I placed the chain in a shallow pool of Varsol to sit for a couple days. Back to disassembly. Here I am removing the auger. Here I have flipped the housing over, and I'm cutting the 6 rusted bolts that hold the scraper blade or the scraper bar on the underside. The scraper bar serves two functions. It scrapes snow and slush off the ground surface, and it protects the auger housing from wear. Here's a scrap piece of 18 gauge cold rolled steel I originally picked up at Princess Auto for $49. I'll be using it to manufacture the parts needed to replace the rusted metal. I've got the piece clamped in place. You can see the little bevel there that I just made on the bending brake. And I'm just marking the underside now right in here to get an approximate fit. I'll probably cut some of it off, and other parts I'll probably bend because you can see I've got rust down in there as well. So I'll bend this piece down on the inside. You can see I got some markings down there. Somewhere you can see in there. There you go. So we'll just keep poking away at this. When the piece was clamped in place over top of the rusted piece, I used a felt to mark the mounting holes for the scraper bar. Here I am stamping their center for later drilling. Back to the bending brake to form the piece. There's probably a half dozen ways to do this. What I did is I first captured the radius of the stage 2 impeller with a protractor. And now I'm transferring those measurements to the newly formed piece.
I have to remove this material as part of the forming of this piece. Having previously transferred the measurements of the rusted part to the new part, I can now cut out the rusted metal. I then spent a bit of time removing paint in those areas where I'll be welding. Little bit of last-minute part forming with a hammer. And then I get to work the welder. Don't look too closely. I own a welder, but I'm not a welder.
Great if I knew what I was doing. Let's see if I can fill in that hole. Trying to fill that hole.
I can weld 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch steel. That's no problem. This required a lot less power, and I still burn through the metal on more than one occasion. I'm not a welder. Here I'm manufacturing the upper side, or the inside of the same area.
I'll have to cut this back here, slide it underneath, and that'll be the bottom piece, and we'll rivet this right through. Not unlike how we fixed the Camry. There we go, just mark it there roughly where I'm cutting it off.
Aligning and drilling rivet holes. You can see that even the new metal that I'm putting on isn't new. I'm using whatever I have handy, trying not to spend any money on this 25-year-old blower.
Well, here's where I'm ending off for today. I have everything manufactured. I have the backside welded with my butcher welding. And the front here, well, these are just scrap pieces. This is a piece of 18 gauge steel that I picked up at Princess Auto. I used it to rebuild a Camry recently. And this is a scrap piece of 18 gauge. So I just put the two of them, as you saw earlier, I just put the two of them in the bending brake and set them up for this. And I've put in the, I don't know what this thing here is called, but I've put it back on so everything is nicely bolted together. So I'm going to stop here for today. I've got to do a little bit of trimming in behind here. Yeah, just take a little bit out of that. And then I'll probably run a set of rivets down here and finish drilling these out to final size, and then start preparing the metal before final assembly. But that's one day work, and I'll finish it tomorrow. Okay. Okay, I think I got enough of a mark there.
With the two pieces clecoed together, I remove the necessary metal. Prior to assembly, all rivet holes were deburred, ensuring the metal mates closely. With the parts manufactured, I can now remove the remaining rusted metal.
I'm at a stage here now where I can just about start buttoning things up. I've cut out most of the rust. The reason that I didn't do that until now is I wanted to use the basic structure to find out exactly where the leading edge was. And now that I have that captured in the new steel as well as the old steel, I can remove the rust. So I've got a little bit more here. I need to get a little grinder in here, remove some of these pieces. Then I'm going to I'll probably do a rough grinding all the way down here to get to as close as I can to bare metal. I'll apply some self-etching primer, And then I'll use some automotive seam seal along these seams to keep moisture out in the future. And after that's done, these have already been deburred, so it's just a matter of assembly. And certainly the zinc primer on the new piece of steel, both sides, and then cleco this in place and start pulling rivets. And after the whole thing is assembled, I will probably put a coat of black paint on it to make the whole thing disappear. So we're just about done here. Yeah, about a day and a half of work so far.
Using some 60 grit sandpaper to rough up the new metal prior to paint. And I'm using alcohol to clean the metal. This is a zinc phosphate primer. It's needed to both etch the metal as well as protect two different kinds of metal from each other. The metal is steel and the rivets are aluminum. Here I'm turning the two pieces into one. This is an automotive seam sealer commonly used in vehicle assembly. Clecoing and riveting every second hole, then removing the remaining clecos and riveting the rest. Here's a close-up of the process. More seam sealer. This is a product I've recently become familiar with. It is not paint. It's a black asphalt undercoating in a can. It creates a tough protective layer. It seals out moisture, salt, chemicals, and road debris, effectively reducing rust and corrosion, especially helpful in Canadian climates with winter road salt.
Okay, I've got the blower up on its side. I want you to take a look at this. This is the bottom of the stage 2 here. And you can see we've got even some more rust. I've scraped it down a little bit here. I'm actually not going to weld that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grind it down a little further with this and clean it up with some alcohol, and then probably hit it with the primer. And after that sets up, I'll use a little bit of automotive seam seal, and then I'll finish it with the black asphalt undercoating. And that will finish this off really well. You can see just a few little holes in here. Lots of metal left there, so I'm not going to bother replacing it. I'll just grind her down to the bare metal and then treat the metal and then block it. And that'll be the last of the repairs, I think. Good stuff.
A quick job with the wire brush. Cleaned up with some alcohol.
Yeah, that's pretty clean. Just about there.
Applied some zinc primer. Automotive seam sealer. And a little more black asphalt undercoating. With all of that stuff dry, I reinstalled the scraping bar.
I got one. All of this hardware is new, and they're too long. They'd be dragging on the ground, so I'm going to cut them off now right at the nut.
just 4 bolts. 2 bolts aside hold the auger on.
All right.
The chain came back not bad after soaking for 2 days in Varsol. Installing the master link here, from this vantage point, the chain rotates counterclockwise. It's important that the master link or the master clip of the chain be installed in the direction of travel. When the chain is moving forward, the closed end of the master link chip should face forward and the open end should face backwards. Adding a little oil to the chain.
All right, so how does this fit?
Reinstalling 1 of 2 chain guards.
Well, that's fitting. That's it. That's it. One little screw, put on this side.
And reinstalling the second. Reinstalling the chute. Generally, these pop on in the reversed position and then lock into their grooves when spun forward. Here I'm installing 1 of 2 skid plates. If you look closely, you'll see a 1/4 inch wood spacer just below the auger, which is allowing me to set the height accordingly.
Well, we're all done. Let's take a look. All brand new steel. Pretty easy job. I'm going to say it was probably 3 days, about 2 days of work, but you had to do some drying and you had to wait for things to set up. But pretty easy job. Not sure what it cost me. I'm going to guess under, I already had the metal, so probably under 50 bucks. And we'll probably get another, I don't know, I'm just guessing, maybe another 10 years out of this. Hey, thanks for watching.